In this video, I journey deep into the Shawnee Forest of Illinois in search of evidence of Bigfoot. Joined by fellow researcher Jason Dickerson and cameraman Russ, we explore the rugged terrain near the Big Muddy River, an area known for strange sightings and unexplained activity. As we investigate tracks, sounds, and other possible signs of Bigfoot, we put our theories to the test and push deeper into the unknown. Could this region hold the key to proving Sasquatch's existence? Join us on this thrilling expedition as we seek answers in one of Illinois' most mysterious landscapes. In search of the Shawnee Sasquatch.
So I guess my plan today, or our plan I should say, is maybe just do a little reconnaissance, maybe look for some evidence, do some of the stupid shit that we've seen, wood knocks, whoops. We'll have some other stuff, maybe some call blasting later tonight.
Yeah, I got some recordings that people have recorded.
And so. I mentioned this before though, I think most sightings are not by people that are doing research.
No.
It's by people camping, right? So, and just talking and doing whatever, normal things.
Driving down the road.
Yeah.
So explain to me why something that is so elusive, why are a lot of these sightings, why wouldn't it wait for them to drive by?
Right.
They say it crossed the road in front of their vehicle in their headlights.
Right.
Why not just wait a little bit longer and drive by?
That's what makes me think it's just an animal, and animals do stuff like that. You see bear, deer.
They'll literally walk right out in front of you.
Because they don't know better.
Mm-hmm.
They say like, as far as like deer, older deer are the ones that know not to cross.
Right.
And they try to teach the younger deer not to. So I wonder if a lot of those are juveniles, whatever. I mean, I kind of agree with you that there's a lot of misidentification, or I think a lot of people believe exactly what they're telling you. But, and I've heard weird things. I know people that I consider very legitimate people telling me they've seen things. I still don't believe it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's even people you trust and have known, but like I told you before too, coming from a paranormal background, I'm open-minded to everything. I've seen things that I didn't think in the paranormal world existed. You know, I've recorded audio and video stuff. So I'm going to be open-minded. I've
had paranormal experiences that I consider legit paranormal experiences. I believe in that more than anything, and I still don't believe in the paranormal Bigfoot. So it is what it is. Well, let's get out in the field, do a little trekking.
Okay.
See what we can find.
Sounds good.
Well, they say they always follow the creeks, right? So I guess we'll follow the creeks. I think it's kind of fortunate for us that the water's low and we could just follow the creek beds. The bad thing is it's rocky, right? So nothing's going to leave anything in the rocks.
I mean,
you never know. I don't know how far we're going to be able to follow. We might just have to find a trail.
Dart in and out, yeah.
Because we're not crossing
Are your shoes waterproof?
No.
Probably need to cross right in there somewhere where you're at.
How'd you get across, Russ? Gotcha. Oh yeah.
What's that
That's
one
cool.
right there by your left foot? What is that kind of rock? Is that
Same thing, it's church.
no, that small piece, that white piece.
Oh, that?
Yeah. Just a rock.
Almost looked like an arrowhead.
Well, that's kind of what I thought, but
Well, it looks like chipped off from their piece.
Yeah, this is like a prime location to look for arrowheads or other artifacts.
It's got an edge on it.
like it's been
It's serrated, like
manufactured. Yeah.
like it's been napped on that edge there.
Yeah. Might be something legit. I was gonna say it'd be worth keeping just as a souvenir.
Of course, you don't walk much now, but he's got guys' properties all over the place. And he
Is that quartz or what is that?
Say what?
This stuff like, or is that all chert?
It's mostly chert. It's just what basically Missouri and Southern Illinois made it.
By the slim chance we find some evidence, I built me a little evidence kit, little Ziploc bags.
Oh, nice.
I got alcohol wipes so I can wipe the tweezers down
yeah,
before I
so
pick anything up with it.
What I do instead of carrying plaster, because look, I've never used plaster and it takes water. Obviously, there's water here, but I use a scanner app.
Yeah, there's that, but there's also, I found some other stuff at Hobby Lobby. I haven't bought any of it yet, but it works like plaster, but it's for kids, but it's like a activated foam or something. You put two things together and pour it out, and then it foams into and then sets up.
I think that would be worth experimenting with.
Yeah, instead of having to carry water. But I do have plaster at the house. I've got a couple boxes of it just in case.
Well,
I just don't want to pack it in a bag.
Just like everything else, like you see people doing this on different documentaries and TV shows, but that doesn't mean everybody knows how to do that, you know. And then they'll say, well, if you come across some footprint evidence, why didn't you cast it? Well, what makes you think I'm carrying casting material?
Well, and what about the people that say, well, everybody's got a camera on their phone?
Yeah.
I've seen people say, I watched a bull elk cross the road. He goes, and I never once thought about grabbing my phone to take a picture.
Not only that, how many times do you see a deer cross the road, or maybe some other smaller mammal? How much time do you have to pull out your camera? Unless you're using a dash cam, obviously, but you don't necessarily have a dash cam in the forest.
Right.
And you can't run your phone battery dead.
All the time recording. Yeah.
Want to do a wood knock?
Can.
Let's do a wood knock to see if, I always do it this way where I don't expect a wood knock back, but I think that if there's anything in the area, at least you can alert them. Maybe.
Right, and maybe they'll come to you.
That's my guess. Why don't you pick a tree over here and
I think that'll be a good one.
sure, let's try it. Let's see what we can hear.
Ready?
Yeah. Of course, it is windy today, so
Yeah.
hard to say if
Sound's gonna carry
Yeah.
one direction too.
you get me from the creek bed if you. We got this ravine here, so again, I always feel I'm with a lot of people. They're like, "You guys are idiots for whooping out in the woods." Well, I agree with you, but again, there's legit researchers that say it works, so I always try. Whoop! And that was a good echo.
That was good.
Like I always say, no wood knock, no whoop, no ape.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that.
What do I do for fun on my breaks at work? I got a, what do they call that stuff? What do they call it, Joe?
Parkour?
Thank you.
Oh,
Let's not go that way.
Trace marks and scratch marks all over the top of this log.
where stuff flies across the top. Yeah, there's a bunch of.
Hey,
rock on this
Jason,
side.
repeat what you just told me.
About what? Oh, the water must have really been flowing to put a rock up on top of that stump. Because that's probably what, 3 or 4 pound rock?
Or was it water?
Maybe, maybe not.
That's the stuff that makes me wonder, you know, what the hell.
Right. Well, have you seen those? Have you seen those rocks in Indiana that are up in the trees?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I guess it's possible, and it's a pretty big ravine here, but
I mean,
I mean, of course, there could be. We're not too far from the campsite. Could have been some kid, but that's pretty interesting. It's really interesting. But there are a lot of scrapes and stuff on the log. So, I mean, that could be
smaller
from
rocks
people
over on this
walking
side.
across it. That could be from the water washing other stuff across it. But kind of a 10-pound rock is odd. It's not a river. This is a creek.
Right, but look, you got small stuff here and then
Sure.
stuff piled up over there.
On the other
but
hand, could be you know what it is, I bet. This tree was standing here and it fell over. And that's from the root system.
oh, and it's just not washed all of the rock off of it.
Yeah. I mean, and no one's picked it up or anything.
Yep. Could be.
Debunked.
Yep.
I think it's difficult to look for tree structures in areas like this, you know?
Do what?
Tree structures? I think it's difficult to look for tree structures.
Yeah, I mean,
What's your take on that?
I feel like a lot of it is natural fall, but sometimes I've seen people show trees that don't belong there.
Yeah, I agree. I kind of feel like some people claim structures and they put the stuff there themselves.
Well, yeah, that's a good possibility.
But then you get those occasional ones where the structure is massive, and unless you have a TV crew or something, how the heck did that happen?
Right. Well, what about the trees that are upside down, shoved in
Right.
the ground? What do you think about that?
I think it's interesting, but I also think it could be loggers, like,
Messing with
because they're
people.
playing around with, not really messing with people, but
But
having
sometimes
fun.
I've seen those on trails though that are like way out, like off the beaten path.
off the beaten path.
If it was close, like that road right there, anything close to the road, people could be messing with you.
Yeah.
But these are the people that like take off on these trails and go way out in the middle of the woods, and those trees are upside down. I'm like, you think it'd take a heavy duty piece of equipment, like a track hoe or something, to turn it upside down, and then you'd see marks on the bark.
Here's a good example of what I was kind of talking about, where there's
rocks
in
underneath the trees, yep.
and then when it falls over,
They just flip up
flips off on top, and then you think that the rock was placed there. Yeah, this creek bed doesn't look very conducive for tracking, but
No, we need a little bit more mud.
As the daylight began to fade, we decided to take Jason's Jeep and explore the ridgeline and surrounding area. The dense forest loomed around us, shadows stretching across the road as the sun dipped behind the hills. This was prime Bigfoot territory, remote, rugged, and largely untouched. We drove several miles across rough back roads, the Jeep bouncing over rocky terrain and kicking up dust in the fading light. The deeper we went, the more isolated we became. As we drove, we scanned the tree line, looking for anything out of place, strange structures, footprints, or signs of movement. A significant number of Bigfoot sightings occur during road crossings. Brief but unforgettable encounters where a large hairy figure is seen moving across a remote highway or back road. These sightings often happen at night or in the early morning when visibility is low and the encounter is over in just seconds. Witnesses commonly describe a tall, bipedal creature striding effortlessly across the road before disappearing into the tree line. Most people react with shock and disbelief. Their minds struggle to process what they just saw, often questioning if it was a bear, a trick of the light, or something else entirely. Some stop their vehicles, scanning the darkness in hopes of a second look, while others speed away, unnerved by the experience. Many never speak of it, fearing ridicule, while others become obsessed with finding answers. But one thing remains consistent. Once you see something you can't explain, you never forget it. We kept our eyes open, hoping for just this type of experience. A couple of creek crossings slowed us down, the water glistening in our headlights as we pushed forward. Eventually, we came to a secluded watering hole along the creek bed, a quiet, almost eerie spot surrounded by towering trees and bluffage. It felt like the kind of place that something, or someone, might be watching from the shadows. That's when we had a interesting experience, something we couldn't quite explain. What happened next left us with more questions than answers. Was it the wilderness playing tricks on us? Was it just a coyote in the distance? Or had we just come one step closer to finding evidence of Bigfoot? Yeah. That's cool.
You hear that? You hear that? What the fuck? What is that? You hear that? What the fuck? What is that?
Russ instantly said that's a coyote. I wasn't so sure because it just sounded really long. Again, I'm not a woodland expert though, and it could very well have been a coyote. Logically, it was, but it didn't sound like one to me. Later that night, as we sat around the campfire, I did a couple whoops. Jason did some call blasting. The area became a little bit more alive. Now, I will say that I was told it is barred owl mating season. So we started hearing different owl calls, but they were really odd. Like, they would sound like something imitating an owl, and it never seemed to be a complete call, only every once in a while. A couple of weird ones was when we heard a partial owl call followed by coyotes, and then it stopped, and then we didn't hear coyotes for a really long time. And then in another instance, I heard 3 distinct, what I can only describe as whoops, and then I asked Jason about it, and he had heard the same thing. That would possibly come into play the next morning.
What was over there?
Yeah.
Yeah, the first thing didn't sound like an owl.
That's what Russ was saying.
Yeah.
And then the coyotes started going off. And then it stopped. And then it was way over that way.
Yeah, they're over there now.
Sunday morning. I have to check the footage from last night, or from when we got here yesterday, because there's this huge branch down at the end of our camping area this morning. Right there. I did not hear that fall last night. Just odd. I'm not saying it's anything paranormal by any means, or Bigfoot related. So last night, did some Jason has a Aztec death call that he used. I did a couple whoops, and then right after that, for about the next hour, maybe less,
we were hearing owls, but it was really strange. It was like the owl was not really doing a complete call. It was like partial owl call. At one point we heard one really close, and then a coyote started going off, but the coyote sounded weird. Jason and I both heard some, now it's probably coyotes, but it sounded like 3 whoops. That was coming from this direction over here. And then periodically we'd hear a partial owl call again. But then the coyotes, the distinct coyotes, definitely stopped. It's kind of like, I don't know, is it the mind playing tricks on us? Probably, right? Kind of shows you, like, when you're out doing this stuff, how it can get to you really quick. You start thinking you're hearing things you're not hearing, but it was really, it was pretty strange. Like, I didn't know what the hell was going on. Like I said, all of us, even Russ, who doesn't believe in Bigfoot, said the owl sounded really weird. It's like a partial, it was your typical great horn owl, but it was like a partial hoot. And then again, Jason and I heard what sounded like 3 whoops. So I'm going to do a little exploring around the campsite this morning. It's 6:51, March 2nd. I don't know how cold it is. Last night it got down probably in the 20s. We were freezing around the campfire. But Jason and I stayed up till, well, I stayed up till around 10:30 before I just couldn't, I just wasn't comfortable in the cold anymore. We just sat around talking about Bigfoot theories, what we thought about different people that we see on YouTube and such. We both have basically the same thoughts. We definitely enjoy everybody's work. We watch everybody's work. I certainly appreciate everybody's work. I don't think everybody is objective as they should be, but again, I do watch everybody's channel. Going down to the creek bed. So there's a creek bed with a steep incline. I'll show you that. I want you to check this stuff out. This is an old campground area, and I think, it's old land, so who knows what was here before campground, but there's always these weird, like, stone structures every once in a while along this riverbank. It's not like it's super inaccessible, it's just super inaccessible holding a $4,000 camera. We made it. That's what I'm talking about. Like, there'll be something like this. And who knows what the national park, it was purchased by the national park, so a long time ago. since we heard some noises from this area last night, I'm just kind of searching the creek bed for tracks or what have you. Deer track. The ground is, it's not frozen. It's more like a slushy that's been in the fridge a little bit too long. I'll adjust my pack here a little bit. It's pretty here though, right? So the Shawnee National Forest is a little bit different than the forest of central Illinois. Yeah, there's footprint. That is okay, so this is interesting. I'm gonna mark this. I'm gonna have Jason look at this later. I don't know if you can see this on camera very well. There's a fucking footprint, and it's got toes. It's got toes. That is not a shoe. If you put my foot next to it, it's about the same. It's about 11 feet. I'm gonna get a scan of it. 11 feet. It's about 12 inches, 11, 12 inches. Called Scaniverse. don't know what this is, guys. I really don't. Is it a footprint? It looks like it has toes, and here's another indent right here, and from there to here I could spread my legs as far as I can and barely reach between the two. So the rocks are a little bit softer in this area. That's why there's an imprint there. There looks to be another one right here, which is right here to right there to right there. There's 3 strides. That's a toe print, and no, to me it's a toe print. I could be totally wrong. I'm going to see how that scan turns out. And I'll get another one later too when I get Jason up, just to make sure I get a good scan. I'm looking for anything else. Did I just hit the jackpot in the first 10 minutes I've been up filming? Let's see if I can get a... I mean, if you think about it, so this embankment here is... I mean, I'm down about 5 to 6 feet total from the campground area. It's not like 6 feet the whole time. It's between 3 and 6 feet in different areas. That area over there is about 7 feet. So, you know, wherever the hill is. So something could be traveling. See what I mean? Like, something could be traveling in the creek bed here at night, surveying the campground, seeing if there's any food left out. Oh, Jason's up, so we're going to get over to the footprint, do some measurements. He brought a tape measure because he's more of a squatcher than I am. He's prepared. Unfortunately, he didn't bring any casting material either, but while he's getting ready, I'm just kind of looking around. So I was going to show you over here on this side of the campground is where we heard owls. Jason just told me that after I went to bed last night after 10ish, it was after 10, but I just don't know what time, the coyotes were picking up real badly. Which now I regret going to bed that early. But I just reminded him that the area I found the footprint was where we heard the 3, what sounded like 3 whoops last night. Again, I want people to understand that I grew up in the woods. I'm not a sound expert on animals because where I grew up, we didn't have bobcat. I don't know if I ever saw a fox in the forest next to me, but I'm sure there were back there, but I never heard anything that sounded like fox or whoops. I'm sure there's coyotes back there, but I never really heard coyotes either, so it's kind of strange that 300 acres of forest next to cornfields, there wouldn't be any coyotes around. But anyway,
What I'm trying to say is I'm not an audio expert by any means, so to me, they did not sound like coyotes. It sounded like whoops. All right, Jason's up. Be right back. Oh, here it is, right here. Well, there, we can go there. It's pretty easy. Talk about, I was showing this area earlier, how you said, you know, does the stream have that much power? Or I did, you know, but look at all the ton of rock here that was moved. So this thing,
Say it's full as this gets out of this bank. It's probably flowing through here really fast.
so Jason, kind of stand over here. I want to show how deep this is. Like, Jason, you're what?
5'8".
And that's another foot over your head at least. In that section, it's not like that the whole way, but at least in that section it is. There's deer imprints. Boot print, that's our shoe print, that's me. Here it is. So there's an indent here, and I can't tell. There's the footprint, or the impression that looks like a footprint.
Huh?
There's one right here, like it almost looks like a foot pointing down.
Yeah.
But it's going that way.
Then there's that, and there's kind of another one right around there, but it's about 4 feet stride. I mean, if you look on this side, that looks like the heel print of something.
What's that?
That could be that's me, I
Oh,
think.
that's
I
you.
think that's
You
me.
Step by it.
Yeah.
Look how what I got a tape measure.
Put that down for scale.
Put on upside down. I got a tape measure. Just measure it.
It's not big. It's about 11, 12 inches, I think.
There's an hole.
Point to where you think the heel is.
There.
No, that's the foot.
I
That's the
thought that was
toes.
the toes. Yeah, I thought the heel was back here.
Yeah, me too.
I see more of a heel
Oh, back here.
striking this way and rolling forward. Because
Oh,
we're-
that could be too, but
what Joe's standing on right there that he just stepped in.
that could be, but
It's like toes digging in.
but it's weird that there's grooves on that end, Russ. I don't know. Well, if it's from there to here, that was a 4-foot stride. So either somebody's running or very tall.
What I see here is like a heel strike, and then the ball of the foot, or the heel here, and the balls and the toes hitting here and digging down like this.
And then there's a faint impression right here. I don't know what that is. That could just be me.
See what I mean by how that's. See what
Yeah.
there. Push him with his toes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's exaggerated digging, but
Yeah. There's a much more, when you're doing that, it's like very kicked up. If you're just stepping, it's not really.
walking slow. Yeah.
I mean, I wonder if I could. I'm not. I mean, it's moving. It's not really leaving an impression so much. Maybe.
But look how deep it is.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Well, that
Unless
one
you're
kinda-
running.
Yeah, that one kind of does.
Yeah.
The gravel's a little smaller, a little looser there. But
I don't know, man. I don't know if. It's hard to say. That could be a heel print. I don't know, man. It's just weird.
oh, in fact, there isn't any other ones anywhere.
We could look.
Well, I mean, it's fresh. There's hardly anybody here. I mean, there's people way down there at the other end, but surely they didn't walk this way.
Yeah, no. Let's say we're messing with us.
Right.
But you can see our camper, like, well, your camper right there. I mean, I'm sure I'm not the first person, or we're not the first person to walk down the creek bed.
Right.
It is kind of hard to. I don't know. Like the skeptic in me is thinking that's a foot, a heel, and a shoe print, but I really don't know. How far did you think it was, measure-wise?
About 13 inches, I think.
13 inches. Okay. Which is human size
Right.
in the human range.
But on the bigger size.
Yeah. What are you thinking?
13-inch print, usually what, 6 foot tall person? Give or take?
Yeah.
maybe?
I'm roughly 5'11". I got 12-inch.
12-inch, so.
What's your opinion on it? Seeing it in person, intriguing at least.
I mean, it's interesting.
Inconclusive, obviously. I wish we had casting material. Maybe that'd give us a little bit more insight.
Right.
The scan picked it up pretty well, but at the same time, I'm looking at it in person and I can't tell what it is.
I know, I wish there was more of a toe spray. Like
Right,
spray,
right.
like
Yeah,
a
that's
person,
true.
but-
So that's either toes or like the heel of a weird boot or something, like the
Right.
treads of a boot. But again, it's odd that the impressions are 4 foot apart there.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's a
you
pretty
you
good
did a little
stride.
jog and yours is about 2.5.
Mhm. I mean, why would somebody
Be
run?
running through a Rocky Creek
Yeah,
bed.
like
Yeah.
we've been doing. We're just walking and exploring, looking at rocks.
Yeah.
Who would just run? Kids maybe, but
Yeah.
that'd be a awfully big-footed kid. But
It would be a big dude because, yeah, that's a good point. Russ just mentioned that it have to be a big person because it's leaving a big imprint, right?
Heel strike, as if he's going this way. Around the part of the foot or the heel, hitting deep there. And hitting deep there, and rocking
I'm going to step next to it just because we've already...
Right, disgraced it.
I mean, I gotta put some weight on
see?
it.
Look at that indentation matches that one. And then it arches up here.
But this one kind of looks, I could see what Russ is saying because there's an
Right.
inset.
But usually when you heel strike, it wouldn't shove the gravel
Right,
backwards
yeah.
because you're coming up off.
Yeah. Oh, I see
That's
what you mean.
made me think these,
Yeah.
that rock there.
Yeah, I see what
But I
you
don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not a
I wish I was, that's what I was
tracking
saying.
expert.
Not a tracking expert,
Right.
so it's hard to say. I wish we had someone who was more adept at looking at stuff like that. I got to do some studying on that. No, what you do is you go out and make a bunch of prints and you study them in different substrates and maybe figure out what is this? Is this a raccoon, Jason?
Yeah. Raccoon tracks go up.
So that's definitely a foot over your head too.
It's like a muddy, wet soil foot slide.
Yeah.
What are you seeing?
Oh, look at the,
Oh yeah.
It looks like a foot slide.
there, and then part of one like over there.
I mean, potentially that could be somebody coming from the campground and sliding down there. I don't know. I'm just being devil's advocate.
When we separated over here, I walked down a established little deer path.
I mean, it's
cut
not
into the
new.
bank
It's
Yeah.
not fresh though, because water's ran over.
Right, yeah.
But if you look at the soil on either side, there's no other marks like that.
Right. It isn't water.
It's an impression of something moving that way. It's not going to be a deer. They're not going to go up a steep embankment like that. Well, normally there is a...
But-
Not like that.
See, I'm saying
Yeah.
if you're down here,
Yeah.
this would be the perfect way. Peek up and look at us.
That's yeah, I see exactly what you're saying.
But there's no.
You see any like handprints
No.
potential? I mean, if you're tall enough, you wouldn't need to.
Right, yeah, you. I mean, just going right here, I can see the campers.
Again, we have Bigfoot on the brain, and
Right.
we'd like to. But I mean, what else? I mean, if you're searching, you gotta at least come up with some theories on possible scenarios.
And it's like we said, it could be this, but then again, it can also be this.
Right. What really bugs me about last night is every time I'd turn off my recorder, we'd get some type of vocalization. And at one point, I'm like, I'm going to turn this off. I guarantee you're going to hear something in 2 minutes. And you're like, 2 minutes, huh? And I'm like, yeah. I go over to Russ's Jeep, and then we hear what sounded like 3 whoops at that point coming from this general direction. I mean, if something was in the creek bed, it would sound muffled maybe.
Right.
So it wasn't like super loud. To me, it sounded like it was in the distance, but
Well, and then I paused my recorder, ready to record again, just hit record, and nothing happened
right.
the whole time. Then when I powered it off, we got something after that.
Yeah.
A bit later.
The we heard what sounded like an owl that couldn't vocalize very well.
Yeah.
Russ said it. Well, Russ kept saying it's an owl, but it was like a who type of thing. It wasn't like one after the other, but there was a slight pause.
Like it was trying to get its mimic voice.
Right.
Join us next time for part 2 when we do some more exploring of the area. We go to a really rugged ravine with an overlook, searching creek beds and bluffage for more evidence. See you then.